This is just a quick video for the SWEN 651 class. I'm going to talk about, my name is Al Ramsey, by the way. I'm going to talk about the JTable. I'm kind of doing this a little differently because I've been looking forward in some of the future assignments that we have, and I think one of the things we were going to work with was MySQL. And something that's really important with databases is tables, and so I wanted to talk about the JTable component that's part of Swing. So basically, JTable, like any table, can have rows of data and column headers. And if we go down here to the constructor summary, which essentially just tells us the different ways that we can call JTable as an object in Java, the one that I'm particularly interested in is right here because it gives a good simple example. So we have a vector, which a vector is that's a whole other wormhole that we could get into. But basically, it's kind of like a array, but you can contains components that can be accessed using an integer index. Anyways, so we can pass in our row data, and we can declare an array of row data, and we can also pass in column names, and we can declare an array of column names. Now, eventually, what we'd be able to do is using a result set from MySQL, we'd be able to generate those arrays dynamically, and then we could, take it even a step further and use methods that listen to user actions on that table, particularly for rows, for editing, and the sort. So I'm just going to jump right into what I've done here in NetBeans, and I haven't really gone the same route as the examples that the professor put online, mainly because I find that NetBeans generates a lot of things for me that I don't use, and it just kind of confuses me. It tends to confuse me. So I just created a main package here, a project Ramsey JTable, a main package, and then a main class. And I declared, I went to properties, went to run, and I declared the main class as main.mainClass. So what I'm doing is I'm importing java.awt and the Swing, the entire Swing library, and I'm importing all of them by using an asterisk here. And then I'm creating a class that extends the JFrame. Now the JFrame is the thing that was created in that tutorial, that box. And I'm kind of doing this without the GUI builder because I feel like, with the table, eventually I want to be able to put, a database connection string in here, and I want to be able to really actually manipulate that table myself. And I don't really think it's necessary to use all of those attribute, that attribute box in the lower right corner for something so simple. But to each their own. So this is the main class, and this just defines a couple things. So the flow layout is a default set of properties for the JFrame, and here I'm creating that vector, that array for the column headers, and then I'm creating another array for people, and I just added 2 people, and then table, so I'm creating a new JTable object, and I'm using that constructor right here. So excuse me for saying so much. Table.set preferred scrollable viewport size. So these are just some of the options that you can call for the table, and these are necessary to get it to populate correctly and to look correct in the, as a GUI element. And then we have a scroll pane within the JFrame, and that's just a swing formality. And then this is the main method right here. So this is what Java is calling, and I just made a little system output line to debug things. And then so we're creating a new main class object, which is generating all of this, and then we're setting the properties of the GUI, the JFrame close operation to exit on close, so that when I close the example, it stops the program, and NetBeans knows to go back to editing mode. So if I take that out, it'll just think that the program is continuing to run. And then I've set the size of the JFrame to be 600 pixels by 300 pixels, and I've made it visible by setting the set visible property to true. The size of the GUI is 100 pixels larger than the size of the scrollable viewport size, which essentially is the minimum size of the table that's generated. And so we go ahead and click run here, and we get a table, and the table has the array data that I've inputted, and the indexes correlate with each other. So the index of first name is 0, and the index of the first name property of the people array that I passed in, the multidimensional array, is Alex and George. And when I close it, it ends the program, and then I can do whatever I want to change this code. So if we wanted to eventually create, we could kind of pseudocode this. We could create a connection string, and then we could perform a MySQL select query that would to pull a row of data or rows of data from a table, and the table would have the same schema here. So we could even pull in the table header names and use them here instead of defining that data in arrays here. So I will eventually continue this conversation down the road here for this course and build this out to create sort of a CRUD type of application where we can create, read, update, and delete people, and possibly implement some functionality, some event listening on the table rows and elements, so that a user can commit changes to the people data. Thanks for watching.